Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am preparing for spring today. It is your host with the most, Paul Plant 2, reminding you that Earth is my planet.
Earth is my planet.
And once again, I am back in my suburban oasis on my nice 1/4 of an acre lot, and I have a ton of things to do to prepare for the spring. It is February in Texas, and spring always sprungs early, if you will, and it does arrive sooner than a lot of other climates. I am in zone 9, and my mission has been to rid myself of a backyard lawn and to add in a native no lawn that does benefit the pollinators, wildlife species, and of course me visually with a bunch of flowers. Now I've tried this multiple times, and thus far I do have a nice patch of ground cover that has established in the form of frog fruit, but I need to seed this area with some low growing wildflowers, and one of which is growing and thriving, and it is the evening primrose, which I have a nice patch of right here. It does self-seed relatively easily, but I have a nice packet of the pink evening primrose that I got from Native American Seed. So this is relatively low growing, so I'm gonna throw this all throughout the yard. That way I can still mow over it and it'd be fine. We can play on this area and it will be fine, and it will still pop off with amazing pink flowers. So let's go ahead and distribute this seed number 1. So these seeds are so tiny, I almost have to like chef's kiss blow them out, which is nuts. But I just want them to establish all over, and once they do have a foothold, they do reseed easily. Now another seed mixture that I throw down are just old pumpkins, and I just let the pumpkins self-seed and they'll grow and just traverse throughout the landscape as well. So another project that I knocked out for the spring was throwing up these bird feeders. So I'll roll some of that footage right now. So I bought a couple of cheap bird feeder poles on Amazon, and now it's time to throw them in the yard. So I'm gonna put one by my pond where I can easily view it from my windows and where I can see all the birds fly in and munch on seeds, and it conveniently is close enough to the dog door, so if any squirrel approaches, I think my 2 hounds can definitely keep them off and away from the bird food. So I'm gonna put one right there, and then the other one I probably am just gonna put in the middle of my yard, just so that way I can see all the birds flock in, once again, from the visibility of my window. So yeah, let's get some bird feeders in, especially during the winter time when you have all these migrational birds going across the Gulf of Mexico into Central and South America from North America. It's the perfect time. But also, you guys can see throughout the landscape are these trash bags full of leaves. Now these are how I created a nice warm climate around my fruit trees that were susceptible to the freeze, as you guys saw in a previous video. I told y'all, man. So I'm gonna move all these, mulch some of the beds, mulch the fence line, and add the leaves to the compost bin. So let's knock that out, clean up the area, and then get to seeding a little bit more. Now, before I get to seeding this area, I gotta take down my banana plant. God, it was so big. The freeze really got it, man. So we have this area nice and cleared up. I took out the banana plant, took out a couple of stems that were still standing from last season, and now I'm gonna throw in the butterfly retreat mix that I also got off Native American Seed. So there already is a nice seed bank. The perennial wine cups are starting to come up already, but I want to reseed every single year just to make sure I do continue to bring in different species of flowers, and over time everything will establish, and eventually I won't need a seed at all. And for good measure, I'm gonna hit this side a little bit too. Hit the pond with it. Nice. So now in my side garden, I have this area where it's really hard for me to throw in any plugs due to the pine roots. It's kind of a dry area, so I want this to be a wildflower bed. So I'm gonna move all the pine straw to the side and also throw in the butterfly retreat mix over here and see how this develops. All right, y'all, so it is the next day, and I still am obviously prepping for spring because there are too many things to do in the garden, and one of which is to transplant a ton of these frog fruit cuttings, which all have rooted. Now, where I got these guys from is not the yard with all the frog fruit growing behind me. The frog fruit is creeping over this brick wall and into my beds, as you guys can see right here. So it will eventually put roots in the ground, and that is what I took cuttings of, and you guys can see there are tons of roots. So theoretically, this should transfer easily. And I'm going to go ahead and place these guys on this part of the yard and in this part of the space. And I venture to say that these 4 cuttings are going to envelop this entire dirt leaf area by the end of the year. All right, so this looks like a decent spot. So there's one. There's another one. Another way I prepare for the spring is by going to garage sales and estate sales and trying to find planters and or any other outside outdoor equipment and things that would be relevant in addition to the garden I already have on hand. So I recently hit an estate sale, and let me show you guys what I got. So I got all of these pots that I am going to utilize to help create that lost jungle aesthetic in the yard. And these are all steals and deals. So y'all can see all of these have hollow bottoms, which will be fine because I can submerge them at angles, plant native plants and have the roots go through and in the ground. I also have these rocks, which I'm gonna put around my ponds, which all types of critters can hide in, which is cool. And then some that do have bottoms that are a little bit older, and the patina is nice. An agave, always crucial. This trash can with pre-drilled holes is gonna be a compost bin for my dog's crap. And then I need 5-gallon buckets because I'm not gonna spend actual money on these full price. So right now I'm gonna utilize the trash can that has a bunch of holes drilled into it as a sequestration station for all my dog's excrement and shit. I want to start growing more edible food crops, and I need to make sure their poop has a place to go and to break down. So I'm gonna get that trash can, submerge it in some soil, and then drop their crap in there with leaf litter, and hopefully that works as a way to break down all their dog feces. And I'm gonna put that in the corner by this oak tree. That way it's not leaching into the soil of anything that's edible. So now the yard is definitely a bit safer for my son to play in and for food to grow in. I'm not eating shit today, my guys. So now that the cylindrical shit catching mechanism is in the ground, it is time to add in the pots. Now you guys can already see my landscape is riddled with broken pots that I find that people throw out. So I'm gonna just utilize all the pots from the estate sale to submerge in the soil, and I'm going to probably throw in either native plants or edible plants in there. I think it'll be a little bit harder for my dogs to sneakily defecate in those canisters of future produce. And alrighty guys, we have the pots in place, and thus concludes this video of things I'm doing to prepare for the spring. Now stay tuned, I gotta fill all those with soil. I need to prune all of my fruit trees in my food forest system, and also I'm gonna plant a ton of annual crops and really try and hone in on my producing capabilities, man. But if you guys enjoyed, smash that like button. It is the best way to help me out. Any advice or comments down below is more than welcome. And until next time, always remember, Earth is my planet. Earth is my planet. Peace, y'all. I'll catch y'all next time.
Killing these songs, leaving a bloody life I roost to. And I'm in it to win it, so I'm somebody that you should get used to.